Welcome to Gumball Love. I'm Melissa Ledger, professional relationship coach, creator of Gumball Love and the Back to You Academy. If you're ready to stop the cycle of toxic men, get through the breakup once and for all, and finally get back to you, you are in the right place. This journey is about healing your heart, and you are encouraged to take the pace that is just right for you. In the process, you will build a foundation of confidence and strength that will make you unshakable, I promise. So get ready to level up your mindset and your lifestyle as you awaken the seeds of greatness just waiting to burst into full bloom. Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Love. I'm your host, Melissa Ledger. Today, I want to talk to you about a very important topic. This is going to be a quick episode, but I just wanted to remind you of something because I learned something so important at my good friend and amazing business coach, Kelly Lynn Adams. If you're following me on Instagram stories, I went to her event last week at Athleta, and it was very powerful, and it caused you to go really deep. And one of the things I realized about when we get into a funk is that maybe we're not really in a funk. We just aren't doing anything we like to do. You're going to work, you're coming home, or if you work from home, you're at your desk, and then at the end of the day, you're just tired. You turn on the TV, and then you fall asleep, and you start the whole thing over again. And if you're doing a side hustle and you're working nonstop, I'm guilty of this, where I can be working, and not really doing something I enjoy. And I broke out of that today. I really made a point because, it's been cold and rainy too. So getting outside, what hasn't been the most appealing thing. And I love what I do. So I don't really feel like I'm down. And so I don't really get into funks very often. But when I've been hearing this from a lot of you, I was thinking, what is it that I feel? And it's usually I'll feel like I can't think of anything creative. I'll go to Instagram to post something. And I'm like, I have nothing. And I was thinking, so that's kind of like a funk. And I remember when I used to get in really bad funks where it was like, I just would go to that dark place and I would feel like I would just eat what I shouldn't eat. And I would, what would be my habit? Order a pizza, get some ice cream, then order some wine, and then everything's order in New York City. And then I would watch something on TV and then just, go to bed. Like that would be my go-to to soothe the thing that was bothering me. And then I don't do well with the pizza, the dough, and all the stuff, and the red wine. That combination really bothers my stomach. So then I would be paying for it later. It was really hard on my system to be eating that stuff. So then I'd have all the guilt, right? And so when we're in a funk, sometimes we soothe with food or we soothe with alcohol. And what I think that is the most powerful thing you can do is go do something you want, that you like, that you love to do. Now, I'm just going to give you a quick example. I live in New York City. I love New York City. I feel like I just got here every week. I mean, it's new all the time to me. Maybe I'm a weirdo, but I'm still taking pictures like a tourist. And so for me, going to Central Park is still, I don't go there all the time. So it's still exciting. And I'm still thinking of all the movies that are filmed there. And I'm just a big dork. And so that's something I love to do. I love to have a book, a cup of coffee, my dog, and go sit in the park, get my bare feet on the grass. Do I do it very often? No. And I'm sitting there today going, why am I not doing this? And it kind of gets back to that Marie Kondo concept where we're doing nothing that sparks joy. And I think a lot of us that are in this relationship search, we're sad in moments where we're alone or we're spending a weekend alone because it reminds us that we're single, and then we mope around and then we feel sorry for ourselves, and then we start getting into that dark place. We start feeling low because we're focused on, oh man, I wish I wasn't single. And then we start going on social media, looking at couples, and we just keep going down the rabbit hole. But instead, I challenge you to really create the life that you love. So you have to go do stuff that you really enjoy doing. And so when I went and did those things today, it just was like, this is such a reminder. Or I'll go to the Met, to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and just walk around and look at different art. Sometimes it's just getting out of the house. Sometimes it's just going somewhere new. Sometimes it's just doing something off the beaten path. Like today, I could have taken an Uber to the park, and then I was like, I'm going to take the subway. I'm just going to get off on whatever street. I ended up on an express train. So I'm like, all right, I'll get off on 86th Street, which is a little bit further north than I wanted to be, but it put me by the Jackie Onassis Reservoir, which I had actually never seen. I'd never gone quite that far north in the park, which allowed me to walk across it to go from the Upper East Side to the Upper West Side. And then I ended up in a great little park area where Charlie could run and play. And so just sitting there, it was like, I'm outside, I'm in the sunshine, my feet are on the ground, which if you haven't researched earthing, it's a real thing. Google it. It's amazing when your feet actually are in contact with the earth, it rebalances your entire body's your whole, all of your systems. We're actually supposed to be touching the earth more, but we've developed a whole lifestyle where we have rubber soles on our feet and we live on concrete and wood floors, and we're just never really touching the earth anymore. So it's so important that we do it. It will really help you rejuvenate. It's why we feel better when we're at a lake, we're in the water, our feet are in the sand. That's why putting your feet in the sand at the beach is so soothing. There's actually things happening, your electromagnetic fields in your body. And I don't know, I'd have to Google it to re-explain it, but it's so powerful. And I was thinking, wow, I forgot how good this feels. And so then when I was walking, I was actually looking for food because I was starving. And I saw this cool exterior of a plant and flower store. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so adorable here. And then I realized it's a coffee shop. Oh my gosh, so cute. So you could just be around flowers and greenery. And then there's this cute little coffee shop, and dogs were welcome. And so I could sit there, finally read my book, because there was going to be no reading and laying on a blanket with Charlie freaking out with dogs everywhere. So I just enjoyed the dog part at the park and then got her all tired out. And then we went and I had my coffee and she fell asleep in my lap while I was reading. I was just like, this is so great. It's so enjoyable. And it just filled me up. And then I'm telling you, when I would feel like my creativity was lacking, what I learned from Kelly Lynn Adams at her event is that we need to slow down to speed up. Sometimes we're trying to go so fast. We're trying to do all these things that we're not slowing down. It's in the slowing down that we fill up our reserves again, that our tanks can finally, if we're just burning our fuel and we never give ourselves a chance to recharge, that's a lot of times what's making you feel like you're in a funk. Are you in a funk? Or are you just tired? Are you in a funk, or have you just not taken a vacation? Are you in a funk, or have you just not read anything fun or watched a fun movie? I mean, when's the last time you just watched a movie? Like, we hardly go to movies anymore, but that's actually probably one of the things we need to do. Turn off our phones. Gosh, the dang phone is just such an enemy for us. It's such a great tool, but it's also such a distraction, and it's stealing moments from our lives. So it's so important that we just like channel the 80s, like when the 80s, we just left and the phones would just ring. And then I remember as a kid, there was no answering machine. Phones just rang. If you were home, you picked it up. If not, and then remember the days, if you're young or you're old enough, like there was no call waiting. I remember when call waiting came out, I was like, somebody was just going to yak it up. You ain't going to get through. So you had to keep calling back until finally you got through. But you know what? That person's conversation was not going to get interrupted. Nobody was getting interrupted and distracted. It was just more peaceful. When I think back to that time, it was more peaceful, more calm, because there just weren't all these distractions. The only thing was the TV itself, and that's it. But once that was off, it was radio, but that was it. And so I think we have to just really think about, how am I rejuvenating myself? What is it that I love to do? How often am I doing that? How often are you, like today, I actually bought some plants in the store and some pots and some potting soil. So when I came home, then I could do that. I tried to watch Game of Thrones. I'm sorry if you like it, but I was like, okay, I'm going to watch Game of Thrones, see if I like it. I don't. I was like falling asleep. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't do movies with torches, low talking. I don't like all the violence. So much violence with women. I was like, man, I just don't like watching. I felt like I was watching women get raped a lot. And I was like, you know what? It's not for me. So if it's for you, no judgment. But I was like, okay, this is not putting me in a happy place. So that got turned off. But the whole day it was just a very clear reminder of connecting to the things that you enjoy. So I've really picked up enjoying plants and watering them and kind of tinkering with them. And I'm actually thinking about planting my own garden within my apartment to grow some of my own food, which is like a huge thing. But I have a whole space in here that has so much light that it would actually be really conducive for one of those, I think they're like, it's some kind of a tree. I can't remember. But anyway, so that's like some extra things that you can do, side hobbies, little passions. They don't have to be things that take up all your time. They can just be little things. So when you're out and about, you can go look at that. Maybe you're an antique person. So antique shopping is that thing you do, and you go and you look and you find something, and maybe you buy something small for like $10 or $5 or $2. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be a hobby that you do for 4 hours every week. It can just be something that on the weekends you can, I was only gone for about 4 hours today. And man, it was just like, went there on the train, went to the park, had my coffee, had 2 coffees actually, one at the park and then one after, regular and then decaf. And then got to sit and read, and then buy a couple of plants, some potting soil, some couple other pots, and then came home, made some dinner, and repotted some things and resituated some of my plants, watched a little Game of Thrones, and made my bubble bath, which is waiting for me now. That's going to be how I end the evening, is I'm sending this off to Dana, who's going to edit the podcast, and she's in Vietnam, so she's across the big pond. She's going to take it from here and get it all edited, make it great. So this is my deadline on Saturday night to get it to her. So like, what a great day. And I can just tell I feel so much more at ease, because normally I'm go, 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 go. And I have so much to do. I had no business technically taking Saturday for the most part off. I had one coaching session this morning, and then I was like, I'm ready for the day and it's early, so I'm going to go. But I realized if I'm going to be of service to you, I need to be coming from my most creative, rested, and my most productive self. And that's not going to come from running myself into the ground. And so I think sometimes when we're in a dark place, it's that we're tired. It's that we're overworked, that we haven't connected to anything that sparks joy or brings up that enthusiasm. Sometimes just reading and coming across a great idea that you highlight, that you write down is so important. I had one huge thing that I'm going to share with you in a separate podcast, a huge revelation that came to me today. And I was like, wow, I don't think I would have thought of that today had I not just slowed down. So sometimes if you're feeling like you're in a dark place, think, what can I do? What would I do if I were taking myself out on a date? Like what I did today would have been a great date. Hey, let's go to the park. Let's take the dog, grab a coffee, grab a blanket, spread it out, and just chill and let the dog play. Like it was, I totally took myself on a date and I had a great time. And I'm so happy and I feel so fortunate because I know so many people right now that are going through cancer scares. I know someone who's fighting for their life right now. And just to be able to do those things is such a blessing. So we can't get caught up on timelines and worry so much about, oh my gosh, I don't have this, I don't have that, and what's wrong with me? And no, relax, deep breath. It's going to be okay. Take time to enjoy your life right now. Because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Something really great can happen tomorrow, or you could get really bad news tomorrow. You don't know. And I don't want you to live in negative expectation, but I just want you to be mindful that today is all you've got. And we can't be living a life that is regretful of what we don't have, because you never know when what you're praying for is going to come into your life. So I want you to live in faith that that's coming. So when you meet the guy, you know, this amazing guy who's supposed to be so perfect and he comes into your life, you know what I'm saying though? Like I always think of it in reverse. Like I always think, okay, when I meet, let's say I meet the man of my dreams tomorrow. And I say, what'd you do last weekend? And he's like, well, I just sat around and I had pizza and ice cream and some wine and watched TV and went to bed. You know, it doesn't sound great, right? But if he said, I went to Central Park and I went to this cool store. I mean, like, I feel like my story is way better because I'm living my life. I want to meet someone who's living their life, you know? And so I've been both people, right? You've been both people. But it's like, we want people to meet us, and we want all people to meet us when we're living. We don't want to be meeting people when we're barely surviving and just hanging on by a thread. When somebody asks you at work, what'd you do this weekend? How many times has somebody asked you that and you're like, God, do I ever do anything on the weekends? You know, it's like super depressing. It's like, not much. What'd you do this weekend? You know, it's like so many times I would deflect that question because I would be working all the time. And I just came to this revelation that yes, work is important. But I was thinking about this in two ways. Saving for retirement. Yes, I want to have money when I'm retired, but I don't want to wait to live until then. I don't want to wait to travel. I don't want to wait till I'm older to travel. I want to do it now when I'm young, when I'm vibrant, when I have energy, and I don't want to wait to experience things. Because I don't know if I'm going to get to my 60s, 70s, 80s. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope I get there, but I want to live now. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to save. I feel like, that's what your 401k is for. Put your 401k, that's what retirement money is for. But spend some of what you have right now. I'm not going to tell you to overspend, but I need to be traveling more. It's something I've always put off, but I'm really just kind of like waking up to, there's always going to be goals. There's always going to be things that have to be done. But if we don't get out there and do what we're supposed to do, and we don't want, or what we want to do, what we're thinking about, what we're passionate about, places you want to vacation, things you want to see, what are we waiting for? Waiting for some dude to be with us? Maybe you're not supposed to experience it with the dude. like maybe it's something you need to experience. Maybe you're going to meet him there. Maybe you're going to meet him as a result of going on that trip. Maybe you're going to meet your next employer because you went on that trip. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all these things we keep on hold could be the very keys to putting that road, or it's actually like the road's being paved ahead of us. We've got to do certain things before we get to that chunk of the road. And if we're veering off on exits, we're not going to get there. So we have to go forward in faith and say, I don't know what's going to happen. Some people I have clients that are, man, Melissa, I'm divorced. I never thought I'd be divorced, and I'm a single parent. Man, I never thought I would be single and be over 40. Man, I never thought that I would be breaking up with him after dating him for 9 years. I never thought I would be at this place. But you know what? For whatever reason, we're all where we are. And nobody, like one of the things that we learned, Kelly's event at Athleta, we were like, no one really cares, do they? How many people are really analyzing our lives and being like, I wonder why they're doing, like, very few. And the ones that are doing it are probably a-holes anyway. Like the person that's really being judgmental and just completely critical of your life is probably not your real friend anyway. So who cares what these people think? Who cares? No one really, like the person that actually cares about you it's like, what's the Dr. Seuss line? Those who matter don't mind, and those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. I think it's something like that. It's like the people that are judging you are the ones that don't matter. And the people that love you are not judging you. So you're free to be single right now. You're free to walk away from him right now, because the people that really matter are the ones that actually love you and that want the best for you. And the people that you're worried about judging and criticizing you, they're not going to be there in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. They're going to be gone. So I want you to just take a minute and say, man, what is it that I'm not doing? So I'm going to say this on the podcast so that I have accountability. I'm going to be at the park more often. I'm going to take a pottery class. I'm going to be exploring more of New York City. And I'm going to do a wine and cheese and wine tasting here in the city. And I'm going to see the Hamptons this summer. So I've been here 5 years and I have not been to the Hamptons. I haven't even been to Long Island in so long. I'm not even going to tell you how long it's been since I've been to Long Island, but it's been a really long time before I moved here. And it's ridiculous because I have spent so much, I travel a lot outside of just being here in the city, but I've been guilty of this. And so we need to slow down to speed up, right? Or slow down just to enjoy life. Like, I think we really need to ask ourselves, are we waiting for something else to happen? It's like, can't enjoy life yet because I got to wait for this. But when that happens, then I'm going to really start to enjoy life. It's like the same, today I'm going to eat this food, but tomorrow I'm really going on a diet. It's like, we have to stop it. We have to just start, okay, what am I going to do this weekend? How am I going to enjoy these upcoming days? So I want you to just think about, what am I planning for? You've got Memorial Day weekend coming up. Perfect opportunity. What do you actually like? Don't pick stuff that you think other people think you should be doing, but the stuff you actually really want to do. So that's my challenge for you. And I want you to just think of 5 things if you can think of them. And they can be small. Like, I'll tell you, like my little things, like if I go get a new plant, I'm pretty excited about it, or a new flower, like one of those, I want to get another one of those orchids because they stay in bloom for like a month and they're so pretty. Like if I just go out and I look at one of those and I make a little couple of hours out of it, and then I bring home some roses too, and I just put them in a pot and bring them home and do a bubble bath. I'm like, I love that day. It's not like, it doesn't have to be a huge thing. Or if I go to the bookstore and get a new book, and just the experience of walking around Barnes and Noble, which we still have one here in the city. I know that they're closing, but it's going to be very sad. But there'll always be some bookstore. Like being around books, walking around the city. For me, those are huge joy things. Doing anything with dogs. Going to sometimes those little flea markets are kind of fun to go to, but I'm not a huge antique person, but I just like I love furniture shopping. So a little furniture find or something, anything that you feel like is going to spark joy, do it. Coffee shopping. Like if I go to the Nespresso store and they have a little coffee tasting place upstairs and you can try different brews and then buy some coffee. And it's just like having those little comforts and going out and doing those things instead of ordering it on Amazon. Sometimes if we just go out and we experience the store and we talk to people and we get out. I really think the key is getting out and really being a part of community and doing something where you're interacting with people or nature. So if you're going to be alone, be in nature. But if you're going to be out or if you're going to go do something, be out and be among people. So I hope this is helpful because I just want you to remember, you may not be in a funk. I really want you to challenge it because sometimes I think when we say we're in a funk, we feel like we're at a destination we can't get out of. So maybe if we disassociate from that word and we just say to ourselves, like, I'm not feeling, what is it? Like, if I'm feeling in a funk or I'm feeling like I'm in a dark place, what does that really mean? Is it that I'm not doing what? Am I not engaged at work? Am I not engaged in my friendships? Am I sitting at home by myself? Usually we're isolating ourselves. That's what's making us feel like we're in a funk. So I want to end by saying this. Every single time you push yourself out of it, every single time you decide, because I'm going to tell you what, it's not one time doing an outing is not going to be like, okay, now I'm a new person and I feel totally different. You have to do these things over and over again. However, every time you do it, it's a win. Every time you light your candles, you clean up your place, you make a bubble bath, you read a book, and you have that, you feel like a little bit better than you did before, man, that's a win. That's a win because you put the effort in. You showed up. You didn't just surrender to the funk. You actually said, no, I'm going to fight this feeling. I'll tell you what, this morning I went to bed. Everything was a mess because I was so tired last night. But I got up this morning. I cleaned everything up. I lit my candles. I opened up my windows to let the fresh air in. I watered all my plants, turned on some music as I had a coaching session this morning. So I was just kind of like, my whole place was in disarray, but cleaning that all up. And I completely did a 180 with my environment. And I was like, wow, what a difference. That was huge. Huge win. Made my cup of coffee, set it down next to my candles, my beautiful plants that I've worked so hard to make them grow and flourish. And it was just like, sitting at my desk, it was all clean, hair and makeup done, ready to do my coaching session, which went great. And man, just as a side note, you guys, the girls in the academy, oh my gosh, it's some really incredible things are happening. Like I ended my last session last night. I had one last night, one today in tears. Like it was just so empowering to see these girls really figuring out who they are, truly getting back to themselves and gaining a power. Like I think of where they were when they came in and where they are now. And it's just so incredibly rewarding. So we're starting another academy. And that is starting, it'll be more than likely June 9th. So we've got some holidays, Memorial Day weekend and Father's Day weekend. So we'll probably start June 9th and then we'll go 9th, 23rd, 30th, and then the 7th will be the 4 weeks. So we'll just skip that Father's Day weekend because we're going to skip Memorial Day weekend. So I'm adding a week here and there. So, but you guys, there will be holidays. However, if you have done this academy and then you become a monthly member where you're like, I'm doing the academy, I'm going through the 4 weeks, I'm going to do the crash course, I'm going to get back to myself, I'm going to get out of the funk, I'm going to take charge of my life. And then like in 30 days, everything turns around. But then you want to maintain it. You don't want to lose it. I don't want you to go back into isolation. So when you become a member, you actually get a one-on-one full hour with me. Every single month, you can book a monthly one-on-one session. Plus, you get the weekly coaching calls. live. So we do 4 live weekly coaching calls. Plus, you get a one-on-one session with me when you join the academy, and then if you become a member every month after. So we can meet for 1 hour every single month. You can book more if you want to, but you're guaranteed that 1 hour. So you have points of accountability. You can be like, I'm going to take 2019. We're already halfway through. I'm going to finish this out. I'm going to take this next 6 months and I want to do XYZ. And you and I sit down and we go through it. And you know what? Nobody comes to this thing organized. Nobody comes to this thing like you. I want you to know you can come to me and be like, I don't even know where to start, Melissa. I just feel like I've been going in circles. I'm dating the wrong guy. I can't break up with this guy. I can't get over this guy, whatever. Sometimes it's just, we have to get through the guy part in order to get to the part where we're focused on our lives. I get that more than anybody you know. So that's the whole point of this. And to create this community where you are not alone. This should not be something you do by yourself. Please don't do this by yourself. Join us, join the academy. There's payment options. If you need more payment options, just let me know, melissa@gumballove.com, and I will help you out. Okay. So the sign up is on gumballove.com, and you can go there or you can ask me questions. I'm not going to pressure you to join though, because I want you to feel ready. I want you to be at that point where you're like, okay, I'm ready to do this work. I'm ready to know everything I need to know about this Gumball guy, and I want my life back. I don't want to lose another day. I don't want to risk dating another Gumball guy. You know, like, what's that going to cost you? I can tell you I went back to my last Gumball guy. I've said this before. I went back to him one more time, and it was 1 more year. Every time I say that, it just irritates me. But you know how it is. You spend all that time going back and forth, then you commit to it, then you're trying to make it work, then the holidays come, then their birthdays, and then you're just pushing off. I lost another year to a guy I knew wasn't right for me, but I didn't have the community. I didn't have anybody else that I could really go to and talk about this stuff that was actually going to guide me through it and know what I was going through and be able to take me through it step by step. So I can't tell you, like, if I would have had this 10 years ago, I don't even know where I would be, but I just shudder at the time lost. However, at the same time, I didn't really lose the time because my mission was to help women through this. So I really feel like although the time did go and I did spend it with these guys, it was for a purpose, and I turned that mess into a message. So you can turn your mess into a message in a different way. So along this journey, I want to help you find your purpose and your dreams, because those need to be awakened again. And I know they're in there. So I want to gently help you through this step by step. So the academy is at gumballove.com. You can click on academy, learn all the details. And I hope you really think about it, because this is an awesome group of women and they are having such incredible breakthroughs. I'm so, so happy for them. So, and that said, we talk about stuff. How do I get through this funk? How do I get out of this? Because you go through the academy and then you might have a couple of days where you're like, what's going on? And so that's what we're here for, to go, okay, yep, you went through this, but where did you snag? Because sometimes we run into a snag and we don't have a resource to pull us out. So I don't want you to stay in that dark place for very long. I want to be like, okay, let's talk about it and get you out. Because when we're in the dark place, we think everybody else isn't there and we're the only ones there. And that's the biggest lie we can tell ourselves. So don't tell yourself that lie. So many people are struggling with it. And we all struggle with it to a certain degree. So sometimes it's like, maybe I'm struggling with it at one day where it's like we all can get in kind of a weird space. It's, life is kind of strange. Songs will hit us weird, or we wake up in a bad mood, or there's PMS, there's all kinds of things. And so there are ways to navigate out of it and creating support systems. So when we fall down, we have somebody to bring us right back up. And that's what I want to teach you to create in your life. And this is the first step in joining this community, because we're all already here. It's established. We're ready to help you. And you guys, this is the most loving, warm group of women. Like, I can't be more proud of how gracious and kind. Like if you have a major issue and you join the academy, you're just going to be like welcomed right in, and you're going to feel like you've always been here, because that's just the caliber of women that are in this group. And they're still going through their journey. Nobody has arrived. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's still in it, and everyone's at a different stage. So all is welcome. Come as you are. Come in your jammies to the weekly calls. I don't care. Have a glass of wine, a cup of tea. This is your time. This is your journey. And I'm here to help you. So I hope this helped you today and get a different spin on being in that funk. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more information or to schedule a private coaching session, or better yet, to join the next Back to You Academy, go to gumballlove.com. If you loved this podcast, I would love for you to share it with your friends. And if you really loved it, a 5-star review is the best compliment you can give. Remember, you are enough, you are right where you should be, and the only thing you have to do is keep going. I'll leave you with my favorite quote by Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined. Until next time, I'll see you soon.